give me a call, especially if you're seeing your bills go up. It's a whole host of bill rises. And today's being called Super Bill Tuesday. This is being called Awful April. And someone else I heard called it, You Just Woke Up Poorer Tuesday. So it's a big moment. This. Let me just show you what this involves. So in The Sun today, they've got quite a lot of these average annual household family bills on their page with the Chancellor running. Would it be acceptable, we're asking, to do this to the bills? To send the bills back in small pieces and say, we're not paying. Why would there's the customer, there's the utility company. Is it acceptable to even think of that? We're not recommending breaking the law, of course, but my goodness, you're getting clobbered here. We're all getting clobbered. There's the water bill. Water bill at £123 while they put the old brown Chanel number 5 in our rivers and seas. We know what they're doing. We've seen it. We've seen the evidence of it. And they say they need the money to make the seas cleaner. You only had one job. Council tax up £109. I mean, this is a big one. We've just been talking about Birmingham and the bins. We could also mention Harlow and the potholes.
This is the state of the road here where I live in Harlow. And it's been like this for ages. So people are smashing their cars up. And the other day there was an ambulance for the first time. My Ferrari can't go through here at all. So me and the boys thought we'd come and do it ourselves.
So there are. Rod Stewart having to do his own, if you could hear that, having to do his own potholes. Council tax. Energy bills infuriate people. There's a story today about the amount of extra profits the oil and gas giants are making. There we are. We know that they're coining it, and they coin it in bad times for us, the customer. We've got car tax, broadband, phone bills, TV licence, nursery fees, all going up. And we're just asking whether it would be, I don't know, if a roofer comes and does your roof and leaves 3 tiles off, as the customer, you could tear up his bill. Would you? Could you? Should we?
It's extremely tempting. I mean, if you could get like a general people strike, so if you could bandy up a group of people that said, actually, none of us are going to pay our bills until the government does something, that could be more effective. I think for me, the most painful ones are probably the energy and water bills going up because it's so avoidable. We could have avoided high energy bills if we'd actually invested in long-term energy security. And the water companies, that's just a dumpster fire. I mean, it's completely ridiculous what they've been doing. The lack of investment in infrastructure, just basically prioritizing, shareholder profits, and then we have this ridiculous notion that, oh yeah, if we cap or if we fine the actual CEOs of these companies, that will make a difference, when these companies would rather pay £90 billion worth of fines than actually invest in the infrastructure that they need to. So I think structurally it's such an avoidable situation all around, but I don't think individual striking is probably going to be, or not paying the bills is going to be effective.
Well, I agree with Esther, or should I say comrade? I think it shouldn't be. There was a campaign called Can't Pay, Won't Pay, which was set up about I think 2 or 3 years ago, which clearly needs to be resuscitated, because as an individual you can just be picked off and it's difficult to see the impact you make. If it's a massive national coordinated refusal to pay bills, then that has a big impact. I mean, one example was the poll tax many years ago, introduced by Margaret Thatcher, a flat tax irrespective of income. And there was a mass civil disobedience campaign where millions of people refused to pay. My mum was one of them. She got a court summons, though she never turned up for whatever reason. But in any case, that actually worked. I mean, the poll tax was partly felled because people refused to pay.
Mrs. Thatcher went too, by the way.
She did. It got rid of her. And, maybe we could repeat history.
Which would you prioritise, the water or the energy?
Well, I don't think it's both.
Let's speak to somebody who's prioritised water. So Kaz Dennett has decided she's not paying. Don't pay for dirty water. Kaz, tell us whereabouts in the country you are and why you're not paying.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you. I am in Weymouth in Dorset, and I haven't paid the sewage charge part of my water bill now for 2 years. And that's really just because I became so sickened and sad, actually, at the amount of sewage that was being pumped and dumped into the Weymouth waterways.
It's interesting because people say, oh, you can't even discuss this because it's breaking the law and stuff. As a matter of fact, if someone built an extension for you and they didn't put any glass in it, you wouldn't pay the bill, would you? And this is similar, is it not?
Yes, it feels like it is from the customer point of view, but under the law, it's a little bit more complex than that. Of course it is. So there's a statutory obligation both from the water companies and from the customer to engage in payment. But I think it's time that we just all stood up. I have not been paying, as I said, for the last 2 years. I have been to court over that, and there's some really interesting outcomes about that, which I'd like to talk about. But I just think, we do need lots of people to just stop paying, and it's really, really easy. It's probably the easiest action you can do, because all you actually have to do is nothing.
Yeah,
it's
but
don't
because
pay.
if we all stop paying, then they have no money, and then they will say, well, then we really can't, fix
They'll find the money.
the leaking roof or the leaking pipe in this case, Kaz.
Yeah, well, the reason they have no money is because they've kind of squandered it, really. That's not our fault. That's now for them to, they're big businesses, they've got to put their big boys' pants on and actually work out how they're going to get that money. Because for the last 30 years, they've paid out £85.2 billion in shareholder dividends and profits.
Yeah,
and
because
for the
Yeah,
next
well, that's-
5 years,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
no, in
private.
total,
Go on,
in
Owen.
total, and they're going to pay another 15 billion in the next 5 years.
Is
if
that
we
just
don't stop
Southwest?
them.
Which water company are you, by the way? Sorry, you said Essex.
I'm with Wessex Water.
Wessex. And are they?
Yeah.
Is that their figure or the figure for all the water companies?
That's the figure for all the water companies.
Okay.
For Wessex in particular, I think last year it was about 70 million to one shareholder. There's just one shareholder, a very wealthy family in Malaysia who owns Wessex Water. So
Right.
I don't buy it that we, that they can't manage.
Okay.
That's the business, and they need to learn. They need to go back to business school.
Yeah, because-
then, don't they?
well, we
Thank you, Kaz. Thank you so much in Weymouth. Go
They
on.
should go back to business school. They should just get out of the business, because we privatised the natural monopoly and we turned the most basic human need of all, other than oxygen, into a means to line the profits of shareholders. And in terms of breaking the law, by the way, the Office for Environmental Protection, which is the Green Watchdog, but pointed out in December that the government and the water regulators were breaking the law by allowing sewerage to be discharged outside of exceptional circumstances into water. So
It's
they're
not just-
breaking the law. So
it's not just, obviously, water's almost the easiest one. This is energy where these companies are smart because they manage to make these profits while we're being told that the war has basically killed the market. So it hasn't killed the market at all. It's made the market more lively, more jumpy. Yeah. And that benefits them. Ian is in North Ayrshire. Ian, would you say, look, take your bill and shove it where the sun don't shine?
No, good morning to you and your panel.
Hey.
Now, the difficulty I have, that you've got a redress under the law. Civil disobedience really is not the way to go down. Historically, the Scottish Secretary of State asked, or almost pleaded with the Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher to use Scotland as a testbed for the poll tax. Now, we all know how that ended up. Scotland is not conservative.
Yeah.
So all the people who did not want to pay a bill used the political leader of the country, and as a consequence, all the major cities in Scotland were in debt.
I see. That's
so-
interesting. So it might be used for a political campaign, not because people are genuinely upset about their bills.
Yeah, we all have got a political hobby horse that we can tie a bill to.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I mean,
well,
I don't know, I just think-
that.
Yeah.
I just think people don't like not being able to afford to live and struggle to look after their families.
It's
And
above inflation rises as well, you know.
I mean, at a time when we've gone through the longest squeeze in wages since the Battle of Waterloo, the fact is we live in a country where most people in poverty and work, earning their poverty, where people just cannot, people skip hot meals to feed their kids. It's 2025, it's Britain. And I just think, the problem isn't that people are breaking the law, as it were, by not paying their bills.
Right.
It's the fact, in a country as rich as this, people cannot afford to live. It's ridiculous.
Ian, thank you. Loads more calls on this after the break. Is it okay to say, I'm sorry, that's what we're doing with that's my tearing motion. That's what we're doing with your bills. Now, more calls on the rising bills that most of us are seeing from today, a Super Bill Tuesday. Is it acceptable to say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay these? You can't put them up above inflation and make the service worse. Carl in Buckinghamshire, are you going to pay yours?
Yes and no. I think there are high-risk bills and low-risk bills. Yeah, a high-risk bill is rent, because they'll send men in large men in small suits to collar you, and then you have low-risk bill, which is the BBC license, who keep on sending you letters and you just sort of rip them up and they do nothing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So I mean, listen, I don't know about that. I keep reading that people get prosecuted for not paying the BBC
You
license.
do, and that's propaganda pushed out by the BBC to say if you don't pay your bill, we'll come to your door. Well, don't answer your door.
And so your one that you wouldn't pay would be the TV license.
Oh, I do. I'm talking about a friend of mine who hasn't paid for 3 years, and he just doesn't do it. And he says, by the way, my name is not the occupier, so therefore I'm not paying.
Yeah, Carl, your friend. Yeah, your friend.
Carl's
your friend doesn't
Yeah.
pay.
And why does
the TV
Carla,
license.
the friend.
Why does Carl's friend not want to pay the BBC license? I'm just interested.
Because I don't believe in some of the political stuff they push out, and I don't use it. I watch it on my phone.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Carl's. Oh, so Carl's friend. Sorry.
Yeah.
John in Birmingham. Hello.
Hello there.
We've got a whole list of bills that are going up, and it's horrible, John.
That's quite correct, and I ain't going to pay any of it.
Right. So
Well done,
you're gonna-
John.
We can't officially encourage that, but that was Owen clapping.
Courage.
Keep going, John.
John, we've got, where do we start? We've got the council tax, we've got the electric and the heating and all that. We've got the TV licenses mentioned, nursery fees, car taxes going up. My goodness me. And you're just going to say no?
I'm just saying no to everything. They're just picking on us lot, the working class, and it ain't fair. Let's
You
come with
are,
them in
you
government.
are in Birmingham, so we saw earlier, didn't we, those pictures? It's horrendous up there now.
It is, yeah. Your best friend in the street, the rat.
Oh, bless him. They are cute, though, aren't
Have you
they?
named them? You
So,
haven't seen
but
evening.
seriously, there is a rat infestation now, I gather.
Oh.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. Where's your rubbish? Is it still outside?
But it's still in the bins.
And what sort of council tax rise are you thinking you're going to get?
Well, I'm not even going to look at it because I'm not going to pay it. They can send me to prison.
I think they're going to be in trouble in Birmingham with this.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can put the
I
council
think it
tax
should
up.
just be a basic right of citizenship in this country that you should have the right to be able to afford to live. I don't know, just call me
Yes,
a
that
radical.
sounds lovely,
I don't
but-
even. I think that's. I would be more specific. So I think if you do something that's actively against the interest of the British people, there should be consequences. Selling off our water companies. By the way, do you know who has six now water companies? The Qataris, Canadian private equity funds, pension funds. You know, the Chinese have a
It
stake
was a
in
way
it
of
too.
getting investment money.
But this is the thing. But they've also siphoned off that investment to the
Yeah, yeah.
shareholders.
Yeah, and then now
they've sold off our interests. So the
£55
people-
billion pounds in debt.
Well, exactly. There should be consequences for that. I'm sorry. If you sell off the interests of the British people, there should be
Yeah,
consequences.
well, I mean, that ship has sailed, I guess.
Are you saying Qatari investors don't have the best interest of ordinary British people?
Owen, you shock me. Are you trying
We've
to
had
tell
so
me
many-
that Canadian private equity funds don't care that Doreen in Richmond has sewage?
I
floating
bet they
on
are
the water?
sobbing
they-
sobbing tears, which unfortunately can't
none of
be
this
recycled water.
is
You shock me.
None of this is even slightly amusing. We've had the call a while back for so-called water jails, where if a
that
company
drowning or-
puts sewage into the sea, you simply have a separate facility where you lock up the chief executive for 6 months or so. So you would, it could be a small house
We
or
could
whatever, but it would be a
just bring
water
them
jail.
under public ownership. We don't have to lock people
It's too
up.
expensive.
It's too
otherwise.
expensive.
It's not
We
too
can't-
expensive.
There's no money.
It's not too
Marion in
expensive. They go
Suffolk, hello.
bankrupt.
Now let them go bankrupt, I would say.
Go on, Marion.
Exactly.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I won't go into that.
Oh, all right. So it's with Super Bill Tuesday today. How are you feeling about that?
Okay, my kids.
All right.
Yeah, but if I couldn't afford to pay the bills, I would lobby my MP, get help, money help from somewhere.
From somewhere.
Money help.
If, other family members of, I'm okay now, I'm a pensioner.
But I'm sensing you don't think it's right to tear your bills up.
No, because
Right.
utilities can't put things right unless they've got money to do it.
Well,
Okay.
I think the problem is, I want to serenade you with Maid Marian, by the way, it's now stuck in my head. But I'm not going to do that because I disagree with you. I think the issue is these companies are spending billions of pounds of that money instead of investing it back into reducing bills and infrastructure into lining the pockets of CEOs and shareholders. That's the problem.
Thanks, Marion. Phil in Chester, hi.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hello. Is it acceptable, morally acceptable, to say I'm not paying? We're not getting the service. We're not paying.
No, I don't think it is, Jeremy, because we've had this problem before in the past. And what happens is that if you say, I am not paying, you're taking too much money and giving it to the shareholders, then what they can do is quite easily send you to court, and then you'll get a black mark for not paying. So,
yeah, that's the trouble. You start to be an outlaw.
See what I'm getting at? Yeah,
I do. I think that's a practical objection. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They probably could come in and seize things. Not the person, obviously, but they could seize
No,
your
you
TV.
can seize goods and everything. If you say, I'm not paying any of the bills...
That's why you need a collective campaign. That's why you need... That's what, with the poll tax, millions of people didn't pay it, and they just couldn't realistically go after all those people.
You can get done.
Yeah.
Well, they did, but you can't do that. I mean, the whole point with can't pay, won't pay, it was supposed to get people to commit. You'd sign up and make a pledge that you will refuse to do it. And then if millions of people did it, then realistically they would have to do something because that's not sustainable.
But yeah. Phil, what about, how's your local council tax, for example? Is it going up?
I haven't had the bill yet to see if it is. I pay mine by direct debit, so it gets paid every month, and I don't have to worry about it.
OK, thank you so much. Katie in Derbyshire, hi.
Hiya.
What do you think of Super Bill Tuesday? Are you hurting?
I am. I feel a bit emotional, actually. I work a part-time NHS job. I bring £1,200 into our household. My husband's company just went into liquidation. He was due to get paid his £2,500, but the company refused to pay him. Everything's just so tight at the minute. You know, me and my husband are having to have freezer food. You know, I would put my child in nursery for longer, but all it would do is increase my nursery costs, which are already £500 a month. You know, after my husband lost his job a couple of weeks ago, we called everyone, all that we owe money to, like our landlords and child maintenance for his other daughter, and it's just completely backfired on us. You know, the cost of living is just horrendous at the minute, let alone when your £2,500 wage is just ripped from beneath you, and no one cares.
Is it when you say it backfired on you, you mean once you said to the landlord, we haven't got the money, they start to try and get you out, or what?
Yeah, no, just constant phone calls, calling me saying, what am I going to be able to pay, when, any updates.
Oh, the stress.
And I've got a 1-year-old daughter, you know, it's a lot, you know.
It's a lot. And of course, now today it then goes up again. How's your husband's search for work going?
So thankfully he's managed to get another job through the co-op.
Great.
Which is amazing. But
that's fantastic. Oh, listen, all the best to you.
I've just done a quick math sum. I don't think people realise how tight and how expensive things are. So this family, from the numbers she's just given us, has a combined income of £44,000, and there's 2 children involved. So her child, and I'm assuming her husband's child as well. And this is the situation for someone on £44,000, which actually a few years ago didn't really sound that bad. I mean, you don't get sort of.
Well, it's I'm assuming
if your household is less than 25,000, which is basically like starvation.
Yeah, is it the rental, Katie, that just knocks out nearly everything to start with? Oh, she's gone. Okay.
But these are people who haven't done anything wrong because they're getting punished because of a broken system, you know, and then they're treated like criminals. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Katie, for your call. All the best to you. Later, Alexis will be here to talk more about this. If you are worried about your bills rising or unsure what to do, he'll be here with a consumer expert called Harry Kine.